Welcome to the deep dive. I want you to take a moment, maybe close your eyes, get comfortable, and really picture this. Imagine you're standing right on the edge of a cliff. Not a scary cliff, not one of despair, but more like overlooking this huge landscape of, well, unfulfilled dreams. And behind you, all those roles you play every single day. You know, the caring mother, the loving daughter, the loyal friend, the really hardworking employee. You carry them all with so much pride, right? And responsibility. Pushing yourself, like, always to the max. Often unnoticed, maybe, but always giving it everything. But then somewhere along the line, you start to feel it, don't you? That kind of quiet, unsettling thought that you've lost a piece of yourself. You know, the part of you that dreamed big, the passionate one, the one who was brave and maybe a little carefree. We all know this feeling, I think. This world, it asks so much of us, especially women, to be everything to everyone. Perfect careers, perfect families, perfect relationships. It's a lot. And you end up asking, who am I really underneath it all? And honestly, where do I even start to find my way back?
Yeah, and that's exactly why we wanted to do this deep dive today. We've pulled together insights, research, stories from real women, not just to talk about it, but to offer like a personal beacon for you. Something to guide you through that fog of, well, self-doubt and all that pressure. So our mission today, it's really to take a journey right to the heart of your own strength, your inner strength. We're going to explore real strategies for believing in yourself again. We'll look at ways to tackle those obstacles that keep popping up, how to build relationships that actually nourish you, not drain you, getting a handle on financial independence, and maybe most importantly, learning how to really take care of yourself, not as some kind of luxury, but it's as essential because you truly deserve it all: happiness, success, freedom, and that journey starts right here, right now.
Okay, let's dive right into that first big piece. Believe in yourself, the power of your inner voice. We all know that voice, right? That little nagging whisper. We're not good enough. Your ideas, they don't really matter. Oh, someone else will definitely do it better. It's that voice of doubt. And often it shows up as, well, imposter syndrome.
It's amazing how common imposter syndrome is,
Yeah.
especially, like you said, among women who are actually achieving quite a lot.
Yeah.
It's this really persistent feeling
Yeah.
deep down that you're somehow a fraud.
Yeah.
Even when there's tons of evidence staring you in the face, promotions, accomplishments, positive feedback.
Right. You look at this impressive list of things you've done, and trust me, it is impressive.
Yeah,
And you still think, oh, that was just luck, or I didn't really deserve that.
exactly. And it's not just a quick thought. It's this, like, deep belief that can totally stop you in your tracks,
Yeah.
paralyze your potential.
It really can. I remember hearing about Elena. She was this brilliant designer, really talented, but every time a big project landed on her desk, she'd just panic, convinced this was the time everyone would figure out she was just pretending, that she was an amateur. She'd lie awake at night, just replaying failure scenarios in her head. It sounds exhausting.
Totally exhausting.
But then her mentor, someone with a lot of experience, gave her what sounded like really simple advice. She said, stop thinking like an imposter and start acting like an expert. And she suggested Elena literally stand in front of the mirror every morning and say 3 things out loud. I am talented. I can do this. I am worthy of success. Now, Elena apparently was pretty skeptical at first. I mean, it sounds almost...
Simple.
Yeah, exactly. Too simple, maybe even a bit silly. But she committed to trying it. And slowly, gradually, she started to notice a shift. Her internal chatter. It started changing. That whisper of doubt. It didn't just disappear overnight, obviously, but it got quieter.
Right.
And this other voice, this more confident one, started getting louder. She actually started, accepting compliments, believing her successes were because of her work, not just random luck.
And see, those simple phrases Elena used, they weren't just like fluffy positive thinking. They were actively challenging her fixed beliefs about herself. This connects directly to the science. Carol Dweck, the psychologist, talks about this in her book Mindset. She explains the difference between a fixed mindset, believing your talents are set in stone, and a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that you can develop your abilities through effort, through learning, through dedication.
Okay.
So when Elena kept repeating, I am talented, I can do this, she was training her brain, building new pathways, shifting that default thought from I'm a fraud towards I am capable, I'm learning, I'm growing. It's quite powerful neuroplasticity in action.
That makes so much sense. So if you're listening and recognizing that, how can you start doing this for yourself? Like today, here are a few practical ideas. First, start an achievement journal, but maybe add a little twist. Don't just write what you did. Write down how you push through a specific doubt or challenge to get it done.
Ooh, I like that. Connects effort to outcome.
Exactly. It helps rewire that it was just luck. thinking. Second, change your affirmations until they feel, believable to you. If I am worthy of success feels like too big a jump right now.
Right. Like, maybe too much of a stretch initially.
Yeah. Try something like, I am learning to feel worthy of success, or I am growing more capable every day. Sometimes softening it makes it more authentic, and your inner voice accepts it better.
Makes sense.
And third, surround yourself with support. Be really intentional about this. Spend more time with the people who genuinely see your strengths and lift you up. Less time with those who maybe unintentionally feed your doubts. Today can be the day you start turning down the volume on that doubt and turning up the strength and building that inner strength, that belief. It's so foundational. Which leads us right into the next big hurdle so many of us face: overcome fear. Courage is not the absence of fear. I mean, let's be real. We all have fears, right? Fear of failing, fear of being rejected, fear of what other people will think or say.
Absolutely. Fear is a basic human instinct. It's meant to protect us.
Totally. But sometimes that protective instinct goes into overdrive, and fear becomes less of a protector and more of a cage.
Yeah, it keeps you stuck.
Right. You put off making big decisions. You don't apply for that job you secretly really want. You never start that project you dream about, all because of that little voice asking, but what if it doesn't work out?
It's so true. It's like we're so terrified of falling that we never even let ourselves try to fly. I have to think of the myth of the phoenix. You know the story.
Yeah, the bird that burns and rises from the ashes.
Exactly. But the key part is, the phoenix doesn't just accidentally catch fire. In many versions, it chooses to ignite. Consciously. Strategically. Why? To be reborn from those ashes. Stronger, more vibrant, more beautiful.
Huh. I never thought of it that way, the conscious choice part.
Right. And for us, every perceived failure, every setback, every time we fall flat on our face, it's not the end. It's just part of the cycle. It's the ashes, the raw material from which you can choose to rise again, stronger. Psychologically, our brains flag the unknown as danger. That's the fear response kicking in. But if you never push past that initial fear signal, if you don't take those calculated risks, you'll honestly never discover what you're truly capable of.
That's a really powerful reframe. Thinking of failure as ashes for rebirth, not just an ending. It reminds me of my friend Olga. For years, literally years, she dreamed of opening her own little bakery.
A common dream.
Totally. But she was just paralyzed by fear. All the what ifs. I don't have enough money. I have zero business experience. What if my cupcakes aren't even good?
All those classic doubts.
Exactly. They kept her completely stuck until one day she just decided, she said, okay, forget the whole bakery for now. I'm just going to take one small step. So she baked 10 cupcakes, just 10. And she took them over to an office building nearby just to share them, get some feedback.
Smart, low risk.
Right. Well, guess what? People loved them. A week later, she had her first actual orders. Now, she didn't suddenly open a huge bakery overnight, but she started. That small act of courage broke the paralysis, and each little step after that felt a bit less scary.
Olga's story is perfect because it illustrates a crucial point. Fear. Often it's just a signpost, an indicator that you're stepping outside your comfort zone, that you're heading towards growth. Physiologically, it's your amygdala doing its job, saying, whoa, something new here.
Right.
But the key insight is this. Courage isn't about not feeling that fear. It's not about being fearless. Courage is feeling the fear. Maybe your heart's pounding, your palms are sweaty, and choosing to act anyway. It's taking that step, even when your knees are knocking.
Okay, so how can we help you listening take that step, even with the knocking knees? Here are some practical approaches. First, break your fear down. That big, amorphous fear of failure is overwhelming.
Yeah, it's too vague.
Exactly. Get specific. Instead of, I'm afraid of failure, try, okay, I'm afraid people won't like my idea, or I'm afraid I might lose the money I invest. Naming the specific components makes it feel less like this giant monster and more like smaller challenges you can actually tackle.
Makes it manageable.
Right. Second, reframe failure. Stop calling it failure. Call it a lesson. Call it feedback. Call it data collection. Ask yourself, what did I learn here? How can I adjust my approach next time? This shifts it from a dead end to a learning opportunity.
Changes the whole narrative.
Totally. And third, take one small strategic step, like Olga. Don't try to conquer the whole mountain today. What's the absolute smallest, safest action you can take right now that moves you even slightly closer to your goal? Just focus on that tiny first step. Lift off from base camp. This idea of taking small steps, building courage, it also applies massively to our relationships. Which brings us to our next section, building connections. Relationships that nourish you. So many of us, and maybe women especially, can get caught in what some people call the good girl trap.
Oh yeah, the people pleaser syndrome.
Exactly. Feeling like You have to say yes to every request, even when you're screaming no inside, always putting everyone else's needs first.
Before your own.
Yeah. And while being kind and helpful is wonderful, this pattern, it's just not sustainable. It leads straight to feeling completely drained, emotional burnout.
And worse sometimes.
Right. It can even lead to really toxic relationships where you're giving and giving and giving and getting almost nothing back in return. No support, no real appreciation.
If we zoom out for a second,
Mm-hmm.
think about a tree. For a tree to grow tall and strong, it needs really deep, solid roots, right, to anchor it.
Makes sense.
And yes, its branches reach out, they provide shade, they bear fruit for others, but those same branches must also receive sunlight and water to thrive themselves. It's absolutely essential.
It's a two-way street.
Precisely. It's reciprocal. And it's the same for us in our relationships. If you want to be strong for others, you first have to be strong within yourself. And a huge part of that inner strength comes from setting clear, healthy boundaries. Now, this can be really tough, I know. Society often conditions women, especially, to be the caregivers, to minimize their own needs. So trying to set boundaries can bring up a lot of guilt.
Oh, definitely. The guilt is real. It really is. I'm thinking of a woman, Maria. She had a huge family, always something going on, someone needing something.
It's familiar for many.
Right. And Maria, she never said no, ever. Didn't matter if she was exhausted, overwhelmed.
Right.
She'd drop everything to help. Her own dreams, her own needs, totally on the back burner for years, until one day she literally just collapsed. Burnout. Total exhaustion.
Wow, a harsh wake-up call.
The harshest, but it was the catalyst she needed. She slowly, painstakingly started learning to say that difficult word, no. Not angrily, not defensively, just calmly, respectfully, but firmly. I appreciate you asking, but I can't do that right now.
That takes practice.
So much practice. And initially, her family was surprised, maybe even a bit put out. They were used to her always being available.
Of course. The dynamic shifted.
Exactly. But over time, something amazing happened. They started to respect her boundaries. They adjusted. And the crucial thing, Maria didn't love them any less. She just finally learned to love herself enough to protect her own energy, her own well-being.
Maria's story really gets to the heart of it. What does a genuinely healthy relationship look like?
Yeah.
It's definitely not one where you're constantly sacrificing yourself on the altar of other people's needs. Healthy relationships, whether romantic, friendships, family, even colleagues, are built on mutual respect between two separate, whole individuals. People who support each other's growth, who cheer each other on, but who also respect each other's space and limits.
Two whole people, not one person propping up another.
Exactly. You don't have to be the designated savior for everyone in your life. You absolutely deserve relationships that nourish you, that fill your cup, not ones that constantly drain it dry. Healthy attachment theory supports this. Secure relationships allow for both connection and autonomy.
So how can you start cultivating these healthier connections? Here are a few steps to consider. First, recognize your own needs. Seriously, take some quiet time. Ask yourself, what do I actually want from my relationships? What do I need to feel happy, supported, and respected? Don't just vaguely feel them, try to actually name them. Write them down, even if just for yourself initially. Clarity is power.
So important. You can't ask for what you don't know you need.
Precisely. Second, start setting boundaries. Start small if you need to. Pick one low-stakes situation. Practice saying no, politely but firmly, to one request this week that you genuinely don't have the bandwidth or desire for. Thanks for thinking of me, but I won't be able to. That's it. It gets easier.
Like building a muscle.
Totally. And third, communicate openly and directly. This is huge. Talk about your feelings, your needs, your boundaries. Don't hint. Don't expect people to be mind readers. They can't meet needs they aren't aware of. Use I statements. I feel overwhelmed when I need some quiet time. Clear, direct communication is key. Okay, shifting gears a bit, let's tackle a topic that's often wrapped in, like, silence or discomfort, especially for women. Financial freedom. Your value is not in question. It's interesting, isn't it, how many of us kind of shy away from talking about money.
Salaries.
Yeah.
Asking for raises, investing.
Yeah, there's still this lingering, totally outdated idea that somehow it's, I don't know, a male topic or something, that it's not quite appropriate for us to be assertive about it.
Absolutely. Deeply ingrained societal stuff.
But here's the thing, financial independence, it's not just about having a massive bank account. Fundamentally, it's about having freedom of choice.
That's the core of it. Agency.
Right. It's the power to leave a job that's making you miserable, the ability to support your family in the way you choose, the freedom to launch that business idea without needing anyone's permission or financial backing. It's power.
And we have to acknowledge the reality. In many parts of our society, women's work, whether it's in a formal job or the immense unpaid labor done at home, is still often undervalued. That's just a fact we see in wage gaps and representation. It's a systemic issue, not a reflection of your worth.
That distinction is critical.
It is, because that external undervaluation does not mean you have to accept it, or, worse, internalize it as a measure of your actual value. Your knowledge, your skills, your experience, your unique perspective, they're incredibly valuable. Your worth as a professional, as a contributor, is non-negotiable. The real shift happens when you decide to take ownership, take responsibility for your financial life. It's not about being greedy. It's about claiming your agency, securing your future, and having the resources to live life on your own terms.
That is so, so important to hear and really internalize. It reminds me of Anna's story. She was, by all accounts, the top performer in her department at this big company, really skilled.
Mm-hmm.
And she found out, accidentally, I think, that her salary was a full 20% lower than a male colleague's who had joined after her and had less experience.
Unfortunately, not an uncommon story.
Right. And Anna knew it wasn't right, but she was terrified to bring it up with her boss. She kept thinking, what if he thinks I'm being too demanding, too bold?
That fear of backlash is real.
It's totally. But then a friend asked her this incredibly powerful question. She said, Anna, what are you actually more afraid of? Are you afraid of being seen as bold, or are you afraid of not getting what you rightfully deserve?
Wow, that hits hard.
Doesn't it? It completely reframed it for Anna. That question gave her the push she needed. So she didn't just barge in. She prepared meticulously, gathered data on her performance, her accomplishments, industry salary benchmarks.
Smart, data-driven approach.
Exactly. She went into the meeting, laid out the facts calmly, confidently, didn't make it emotional, just focused on her value and the disparity and the outcome. Not only did she get the raise to match her colleague, but they actually offered her a promotion too.
Anna's story is fantastic because it highlights something crucial. Research consistently shows women are less likely to initiate salary negotiations than men, often because of that fear of negative perception, that boldness fear. But the data also shows that when women do negotiate, they often succeed.
Right. We just need to overcome that initial hurdle.
Exactly. So remember, you absolutely deserve to be compensated fairly for your work, your skills, your contributions. Full stop. Your financial freedom isn't some optional extra. It is a fundamental key to unlocking your personal freedom, your autonomy, your ability to make choices that align with who you are and what you want for your life.
Okay, so how can you start moving towards that financial independence? Practical steps time. First, know your worth and back it up with data. Don't just guess or rely on what you think you should be earning. Do your homework. Research salaries for similar roles in your industry and location. Use sites like Glassdoor, LinkedIn Salary, PayScale. Get objective numbers. Knowledge is power here.
Crucial first step. Be informed.
Second, practice talking about money. Seriously, it feels awkward at first because we're not used to it. Start by discussing salary expectations or financial goals with a trusted friend, a mentor, maybe a financial advisor. Just normalize the conversation. Build your confidence in talking numbers.
Desensitize the topic a bit.
Exactly. And third, start investing, even if it's a really small amount to begin with. Learn the basics. Maybe look into low-cost index funds or talk to a fee-only advisor. Understand compound interest. It's incredibly powerful over time. Make your money start working for you, not just sitting there. All right, this leads us to our final and maybe the most fundamentally important section, self-care. You are your most important project. Just think about your typical day, your typical week. How much of your energy goes into caring for others? Making breakfast, getting kids ready, checking on parents, supporting friends through tough times, meeting work deadlines.
The endless list.
Right. You become this central hub, the axis around which everyone else's world seems to revolve. And in the middle of all that giving, what happens to you?
You get put last.
Always. You tell yourself, I'll take care of myself later. When things calm down, when I have more time, when everyone else is okay. But later often never really comes, does it?
It rarely does. And here's the critical thing to understand. Self-care. It's not just some fluffy, nice-to-have sped-a concept. Think of it biologically. It's your personal energy management system, your battery pack.
Okay, I like that analogy. Battery pack.
Right, and if you constantly drain that battery through chronic stress, lack of sleep, no downtime, without intentionally recharging it, you will eventually just stop, or at least stop functioning well. Burnout isn't just feeling tired. It affects your physical health, your ability to think clearly, your emotional
It
stability,
impacts everything.
everything. You simply won't have the capacity, the energy, the patience, the creativity to be that strong, vibrant person you want to be, either for yourself or for the people you care about. So the big insight here isn't just that self-care is nice. It's that taking care of yourself is absolutely not selfish. It is a fundamental biological necessity for survival and well-being. It's not indulgence. It's proactive maintenance and recovery.
Proactive maintenance. I like that even better than battery pack. It feels more intentional. Okay, let's use another image. Imagine you are a beautiful garden. Your life, your well-being, it's a garden.
Nice visual.
For that garden to flourish, to bloom, to actually produce fruit, what does it need? You have to actively water it, right? Give it nutrients, fertilizer, pull out the weeds diligently, protect it.
Constant tending.
Exactly. It doesn't just happen passively, and the same is true for your life. You have to consciously nourish your mind, your body, your soul. And what does that watering and fertilizing look like in real life? It doesn't have to be elaborate or expensive. It could be taking 15 minutes for a quiet walk, just noticing your surroundings. It could be actually sitting down and savoring that cup of coffee alone instead of gulping it while doing 5 other things.
Reading a few pages of a book before sleep. Listening to music.
Yes. Anything, really. That doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that it's time carved out intentionally, just for you, unapologetically. So how do you make this real? How do you stop putting yourself last? Some practical steps again. First, schedule untouchable time for yourself. Seriously, put it in your calendar like any other important appointment, even if it's just 30 minutes a day to start. Make it sacred. Protect that boundary fiercely. This is your non-negotiable recharge time.
Treat it like a crucial meeting. Because it is.
Exactly. Second, learn to relax without feeling guilty. This is a big one for many of us. Remind yourself, constantly if necessary. Rest is not a reward you earn after everything else is done. Rest is not a luxury. Rest is your essential fuel. It's your resource. Depleting it helps no one.
Permission to rest is key.
Permission granted. And third, listen to your body. It's incredibly wise, but we often ignore its signals. If your body is whispering or shouting, "I'm tired, please actually listen." If it's craving movement or quiet or connection, or even just a glass of water, honor that need. This is about tuning back into your own internal wisdom, your interoception. Your body knows what it needs. Wow. Okay. We have covered so much ground today in this deep dive. It feels like quite a journey.
It really does.
We started with tackling that inner critic, that voice of doubt, and learning how to build genuine self-belief. We looked at fear differently, not as a stop sign, but maybe as a signal that we're growing and finding the courage to act despite it. We talked about building relationships that truly nourish us, based on boundaries and mutual respect, not just giving, but receiving too. We touched on the crucial link between financial independence and personal freedom, knowing your value.
Right.
And we ended with perhaps the most vital piece. Recognizing that self-care isn't selfish, it's absolutely essential, the foundation for everything else.
Absolutely. And remember that tree analogy we used? Yeah, the strong roots.
Right. Those roots, they often grow strongest not just in perfect conditions, but when they have to push through storms, anchoring the tree against the wind. And your roots, that's your history. Your experiences, good and bad. Your resilience. Your inherent strength. You have navigated so much already in your life. Every challenge, every storm you've weathered, it hasn't broken you. It's become part of the very fabric of who you are. It has made you stronger.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
So please don't ever fall into the trap of thinking you need to become someone else to be worthy. That you need to achieve more or be different to somehow earn your place. No, you are already worthy. Right now. Exactly as you are in this moment. The most profound truth, I think, is that everything you truly need, the strength, the wisdom, the resilience, it's already inside you. It is, and today is your day. So listening to all of this, reflecting on your own journey, what does it all mean for you right here, right now? What is maybe one new truth, one empowering belief about yourself that you will commit to telling yourself starting today? A truth that really lands for you. And flowing from that, what is the very first, maybe even tiny, tangible step you will take, like right after hearing this, to begin writing that next, more powerful chapter in your life, not putting it off until tomorrow or next week. Today, you have incredible capacity within you. You really do. Now go out there and start showing the world, and more importantly, yourself, what you are truly capable of. We absolutely believe in you.